Hello and welcome. My name is David Karofsky from the Family Business Consulting Group. I'm here with Ethan Becker of the Speech Improvement Company. Ethan is a second generation family business and a very close personal friend who I've known for many years. Ethan really specializes in developing presentation skills, communication skills, speech improvement skills for professionals of all ranges across all different types of industries and focuses. Today, I thought it would be a great opportunity for Ethan and I to have a quick conversation around some of the things that he's doing in his business, given the current environment in our world today. So Ethan, welcome and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So Ethan, give us a little bit of a history of the background of the Speech Improvement Company.
Sure. Well, we are a family business. We've been in business for 56 years. I'm second generation. My mother and my father started the company in 1964. My mother was a speech pathologist studying speech pathology. My father was studying rhetoric and public address. And they got together and they had this idea that if you can coach an executive that the same way that an athlete is coached, you could really help that executive and strengthen the quality of their how they are in their job and in their life. So they started this whole concept in the 60s. And now we are on 4 continents. We have, tens of thousands of companies we work with. We're pretty busy. It's a small team of us, about 20 of us right now.
Okay.
And for the most part, we help people in 2 areas. One is to become comfortable around this whole business of talking with others. And 2 is to be good at it, whatever that it happens to be. So in some cases, that's doing formal presenting. And in a lot of cases, it's managing and communicating as a leader or as a manager. And we do it all over the world. So,
how did you generally work with your clients?
Well, usually most of it was face-to-face. We actually, this is the remote stuff is nothing new for us. We started doing this probably in the 90s, the late 90s. But a lot of times we'll travel. So I'll fly to like Malaysia, and then I'll work with clients in Malaysia, anywhere from, it could be the leader of a country to the leader of a company to people all throughout the company. So we would go there and either work with a group of people, or sometimes we'll go and just work privately with one person. And sometimes both. A lot of times we'll come in and do workshops for a whole team and then do one-on-one work with each person on that team. And sometimes they come to us, to our office in Massachusetts.
So obviously you can't do that right now, or at least not the traveling piece. And so has this represented an opportunity? I always believe that every challenge creates new opportunities. And has what's going on today really created a new opportunity for the Speech Improvement Company to pivot your model a little bit? And if so, what are you doing a little different?
And now we're starting to get a lot of requests for private coaching. I think things that are easy to do with remote technology, one-on-one coaching is very easy, and that has been for a long time. The group training is a lot better than it used to be. So we're getting teams asking us to come in, companies asking us to come in and work with their team to do group communication skill training. So now it's presentation skills, but it's not the stand up in front of a live group. It's presenting through the technology. And for us, we've been doing this for so long. It wasn't too hard of a pivot. But that's more or less what every coach here is now working on.
Can you share some thoughts and tips about how you're seeing companies shift, or advice or tips that you're giving to help people be able to communicate more effectively with different types of means?
The best advice I could give to a leadership team or folks who are on the team is it sounds obvious, patience.
Yeah.
Patience with each other, with yourself. And that may be easy to hear and to understand, but to actually do it is tough, especially when somebody really pisses you off or we're just frustrated or they're late for a thing. It's like, patience. This is not normal.
And to know that your professional environment, the background, right? I work from home. If I'm not consulting with my clients, I work from home. So I have an office, I have a background, it's quiet. I'm lucky enough that my kids are older, so they understand that when the door's shut, dad's working. That's not going to be the case. For most, probably 85 or 90% of the people that are now working from home generally have never worked from home. So they might be working at the kitchen table or whatever. So are you saying that we need to kind of come into it with a little bit more of an open mind and know that not every background is going to be quiet, enclosed, and professional, but we can still get our work done?
Think about this. Even people who do work from home, they maybe are used to working from home, but the rest of their family is out and about.
Yeah.
And now the whole family is home at the same time. So the cognitive dissonance gets turned on. And we think, oh, that person's always used to doing it. So, well, there may be, and there are certain people where this entire experience has not changed a whole lot in their routine or their home environment.
Right.
That's the minority.
Yeah.
So the majority it's changed. And then there are the folks that have never, as you mentioned, they didn't work from home before. There are folks who work from home, they knew they knew that was the deal when they took the job. Like they've had time to
Right.
sort that out. And then there are people who probably would not have elected to work from home. So everybody's just thrown into this situation and it makes it tough. So, okay, so what do you do about it? While I don't know that there are solid, do this and you'll be fine, there are trends that we're already starting to see. Even in the couple of weeks, our whole team, we meet every month for a full day of development and we talk about ideas and things like that and study the research together. Well, lately we've been doing it every week. And instead of an entire day, we're doing it. So this way we can stay connected and talk about the trends that we're actually seeing with our clients in different industries. So the biggest watch out, I would say, is called screen fatigue that I was talking about earlier, that we haven't moved much and I'm looking and I'm alert here. Consider how that differs from a meeting in a room. In a room, we're looking at different things. The eye focal length changes. I can get up and walk out for a second. Here, everybody who speaks, I'm facing and sitting exactly the same. The leadership has a different kind of cognitive dissonance going on. They have a different type of stressor. They're the ones in charge. And the mid and lower level folks who are in that same meeting, yes, it's cute. I see you're in your home and that's great. But with another cognitive dissonance, another thing to worry and concern about is this idea that I might be laid off at any time without knowing what's going on. There's a difference. Not everybody is in the same scenario of how long can they last without income happening. I would say you should care about the online presence, the professionalism, how you frame things, how you light things, and it's exhausting.
Are there some tips and thoughts that you're talking to the leadership of organizations that you would ask them to consider today versus when we're not having a crisis per se?
Sure. There's a lot of work and research around the topic of crisis communication. In fact, on our homepage, speechimprovement.com, there's a link to a free webinar that I'm not presenting, but my colleagues did, on communicating during crisis. But I'll share with you some of the highlights of that. There's three things that leaders should be thinking about. A lens for which to filter your communication in during crisis. Safety, predictability, and control. Safety, predictability, control. Safety. People need to feel that there is a sense of safety. Now, that's hard to do. Sometimes the crisis is still happening. If there's a fire, maybe it's not out yet. But what can we communicate that creates some sense of safety to the best of our ability? In a business during a crisis here, it might be just, here's what we're doing.
What steps you've taken to
what
ensure
steps we've taken. We're going to be closing the office. That's a piece of safety to keep everybody safe, right? That's one type of a thing. Predictability, we can't predict it. If there's a fire still happening, we don't know if it's going to be out or not. We hope it is, right? But what can we predict? As an example, I may not know when the crisis is over, but I can tell you, I can predict when I'm going to give you another update. I might say something like, okay, well, I'll be back in 1 hour to tell you what's happening. Or in the corona crisis right now, we're sort of past the initial stage. So let people know what things can be predicted and predictable in the world that you have in your company. And it might be as simple as when the next update is. And then control. people like to have a sense of control. What are some of the things you can install into your team and into your company that they can have some sense of control over during a crisis? Maybe it's a project, maybe it's a specific thing, but these kinds of things are what we look at in the psychology of in groupthink to calm the anxiety, which is what you want, so that people, because when we're panicking, it's not helpful at all.
That's great.
So safety, predictability, and control are
well, as I said in the beginning, you and I have known each other for many years, and you've just been a phenomenal resource to me over the years, and so appreciate that. Ethan, if somebody wants to learn a little bit more about your business, what's the best way to get a hold of them, or a hold of you rather?
Sure. They can go to the website. Plug for my book. This is a good book. This is an international bestseller, McGraw-Hill. In fact, we just got the green light to do a revised version of it, which
congratulations. It is a wonderful book.
So that's called Mastering Communication at Work. You can buy it anywhere there's a book. Our website, speechimprovement.com. My email is Ethan, ETHAN, @speechimprovement.com. Feel free to reach out. I'll help if I can.
That's great. Ethan, thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure as always. And I look forward to our continued work together. If you want to learn more about the Family Business Consulting Group, you can reach us at thefbcg.com. Thanks.